What's going on, everybody? If anybody wants to come in here or not, have an actual topic to go over this time, unlike some other times where I just come in and have absolutely no idea what I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about my opinion on basically going into owner op, and just not really advice, but just I hear a lot of people talk, or a lot of people ask on these pages on Facebook if they should go ahead and buy a truck or not. And I just kind of want to go over some of that. I'm not anywhere near. Obviously, I'm still way too new in this tier of trucking to give solid advice. So I'm just going to give my opinion on something, and you can like it or not like it. Whatever. If you want to share it out, you can for some other people to maybe hear what I am going to say about it. Sorry, it's kind of grainy. I'm using my laptop. Uh, really want to use my phone, and it takes way too long for it to upload when I use my phone afterwards. But yeah, you hear on a lot of you see on a lot of Facebook apps or pages rather. Somebody will go in there and they'll ask, okay, hey, should I go ahead? I've got the money lined up. I got this. I've got that. I'm prepared. As much as I think I should be right now. Should I go ahead and buy a truck? And 95% of the responses are no. And while I completely understand where they're coming from, I understand why they would say no. I understand why they would tell everybody. By the way, how's the sound? Can anybody give me a thumbs up, or you don't even care if you like it or not? Just let me know how the. Let me know if you can hear. Didn't I shave? I don't know. I don't shave on the road. I wait till I get home to shave. You guys hear this? I want to make sure it's mic is okay on this laptop here. I haven't used this laptop in a long time. Anybody hear me? Does this sound all right? Oh, I got a few people watching. I would think if it's all right, you could say something here. Crap. Uh, Let me type it out. Is the sound okay? Anybody? Has the sound okay on this? Gosh, the camera on this thing sucks. Well, come on, somebody. I guess I'll just assume that the sound is okay. We'll go with it. Anyway, you'll see the people that tell them no, don't go into don't buy your truck. I don't care how much money you have. Save your money, invest it in something else. Uh, yes, Kathy, that is exactly right. That is exactly what this feed is all about right now. Awesome, I appreciate that, Mohammed. Yeah. Okay. Good. Kathy, you hit the nail right on the head with that. Um, what I was going to say was, these people are telling these drivers is uh, want to be owner operators not to take the risk, and I completely understand wanting to play it safe. Don't get me wrong, but what we do out here is a risk. when we go out and we purchase our own truck, especially when it's not a walk away, when we go out and we purchase our own truck, or any startup business for that matter, it doesn't have to be trucking. When you start up a business, you're taking a risk, a big risk. And depending on where you are in your life, it could be a bigger risk than somebody else. It could be a smaller risk. I feel like my risk was a little bit higher than somebody else's because I have a family that I am responsible for. Now, somebody that's 26 that doesn't have a family, their risk isn't quite as great, in my opinion. It's still a risk, but if they fail, they're only failing themselves. Uh, but anyway, people, what I think that some of these people fail to see, they fail to understand or comprehend as they're typing out the responses to not do it. They don't understand that the majority of large companies, even well, when I say large, I mean just fleets. The majority of fleets in general, a lot of them started out as one truck operations. A company I used to work for, Continental Express, started out as a one truck operation. Back in I want to say like 1989, 88, 89, something like that. Now, what if back in the 80s, what if technology was advanced sooner than it did, and they had Facebook back in 1988 or whatever, and the owner of that company of Continental Express got on Facebook and said, "Hey, I've been a company driver for several years. I've got the money saved up to buy a truck. Should I go ahead and buy a truck, or should I not?" What if people responded? Now, granted, I understand times were different, but the risk was still there. What if people responded and said, "No, save your money, don't buy a truck, invest it somewhere else, put your money away, do this, do that, but don't buy a truck"? If that had happened and that the owner of Continental Express had listened to what they told him to do on Facebook, or any page for that matter, uh, that would be hundreds of drivers who wouldn't have a job right now because that person never took the risk to buy his own truck, which eventually evolved into a much, much larger operation where he now employs, got, when I was there, it was like 350 or so drivers. Now it's probably pushing 1,000. They've really enlarged, not to mention the office personnel. He's branched off and bought several other smaller companies, you know, so he employs those employees. Those people would not have a job if he didn't take that risk initially to buy that first truck. And that's what these people I don't think understand when they tell somebody not to buy their truck. We understand it's a risk. It's a huge risk. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of sleepless nights. I was going to do a recorded video on this, but I decided it's better if I have some interaction. If somebody wants to, give their opinion on it. Um, but all these company drivers, and look, again, I don't want to say anything bad. Company drivers, uh, I mean, I was a company driver only until a few months ago, for 10 years, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But when you're hearing from a company driver, play it safe and to, not buy a truck, um, they aren't comprehending that if the owner of their company had taken the same advice when they started their company, the person wouldn't have a job at that company. Not to say you wouldn't have a job somewhere else, but if every entrepreneur heeded that advice, they would not have a company to employ hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals. So I think that's of course it's a risk, and of course somebody that buys a truck needs to understand that it's a major risk. There's huge potential for failure, but without that risk, nobody would have a job to go to in the first place. And again, I just think that's important to point out. Um, buying a truck isn't something that everybody should do. I would never say that, but it's definitely something that people have done, and they have evolved their company into something that you know that maybe thousands of individuals and families rely on, thanks to their initial risk to buy the first truck. And that's what being an entrepreneur is. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a huge, huge risk. You know, um, stresses. I mean, just the stress that you deal with. God, I hate the quality of this camera on this thing. I should have done it on my phone. Um, but I hate how long it takes to upload on my phone once I'm done. But it's a huge risk, and just this week, I had a minor issue with my truck. A coolant line rupture. Didn't really rupture, but it started leaking. And when it was leaking, while it was leaking, I'm guessing anyway that this was the issue. The truck died on me twice as I was heading to the shop to have the line replaced. But the line, I know it sounds kind of dumb, but it was a coolant line that went into the fuel filter. So the way I look at it is, if water and coolant could get out of that line, air could get into that coolant line and possibly choke the fuel in the fuel filter housing. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. It's just kind of my assumption, um, because it didn't throw any codes or anything, and it hasn't done it since I got the line replaced. It only did it, as I was heading to get the line replaced. So, just kind of, that was like 4 or 5 days ago. So I don't know, but when that happened, stress. Even though I know that the truck is covered under warranty, I can get it fixed. It's the downtime, and that stress is like, oh man, you don't want to deal with it. But again, that is a huge factor in owning a business, any business. And like I said, just to hear so many, or to see so many drivers try to keep somebody from starting their business. Maybe they wouldn't do it with another business. I don't know, but maybe he's going to be the next person to. He'll be the next Prime. Employing. I'm not sure how many drivers Prime has, but I know it's in the thousands. So maybe he'd be the next Prime owner. Where he's got thousands of drivers that are reliant on him. So it's one of those things where it's a risk, but it's a necessary risk. Um, if society is going to function. Uh, people need to understand that. So you know maybe instead of saying, "Oh no, don't do this," just give them the reasons that it's risky, but don't in my opinion, if he's I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're the type to take the risk, good, do it. If you're not, then you're not. It's we're not all cut from the same mold. That's the beauty of it. Some of us just aren't. And I'm not a risk taker other than buying this truck. I have a huge fear of heights. I don't like spiders. Poisonous snakes scare the shit out of me. I'm not a risk taker, which is why I'm not the kind of person you would expect to be out here buying a truck and taking that risk. A buddy of mine once told me a long time ago that one thing he respects about me is that I'm the kind of guy that when I want to do something, I do it. And that's kind of what it came down to. I'd been a company driver for 10 years. I said, you know what? I want to go ahead and buy a truck. I mean, I didn't just do it all willy nilly. I did a lot of homework. I prepared the best that I could, that I knew how. And I just wanted, I finally wanted to take that step. I wanted to be my own boss. And so I chose to take the risk, fully aware that it is a risk and fully aware of what it entails. So and I don't have any plans to hire a driver because I'm so new at this. I don't want the responsibility of having somebody else reliant on me. But I mean, other than my family, of course. But in a couple of years, maybe I will. Maybe I will want to hire a driver. And maybe I'll hire a couple. Maybe I'll buy a couple more trucks. Maybe I'll just hire one and put him in this truck, and I'll be home more. I'll dispatch him and or her, and I'll just simply stay at home and dispatch for that person and be home with my family more. But see, the biggest thing that confuses me about the owner op uh, here of trucking, taxes. I'll be honest. I need to learn more about taxes, and it's one thing that I have trouble, comprehending fully. And that's another reason why I wouldn't want to take another driver on right now, because that would obviously further complicate the whole tax thing. But where I'm at right now, I'm good. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know we're just down to one person right now. Quality truck won't make it. All right, Dominic. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. I don't have a quality truck anymore. Um, or I went on a track lease and got this truck from a dealership. So I don't have a quality truck anymore. Quality was, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe if you mean by how expensive quality is, yeah, I agree. Spending for quality, I was spending $4,800 a month on a truck. That was for the payment and for their mandatory uh, involvements other than trucking or other than the truck itself. It was a $4,800 a month ordeal with quality, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to get myself out of that and into um, my own truck because, in fact, it was interesting when I went and when I bought this truck, took it down to the yard so they could do what they had to do. We're at the company I'm leasing onto with PDP, and I took the truck down to the yard. And one thing that the guy that went around from the company that went around and did the quarterly inspection that they do on my truck, he said that a lot of drivers. He said I'm one of the very few drivers that they have that's leased on the quality that was able to get out quality because everybody has the same plan that I did. Everybody has the same plan to like they wanted to get a quality truck to get their foot in the door. Then they would buy their own truck or the track lease or whatever. Go to a dealer and get their own truck. That was my plan. I followed through with it. He said that a lot of drivers that they have are stuck on the road because of how expensive quality truck is, and they aren't able to. They can't even find the time to take the truck back because uh, they're so engulfed in financial restraint via that quality truck. Because it is such a high payment, $4,800 a month for that truck. And this truck that I'm in right now is $1,800 a month. Um, you know, and this is a one. You pay this one time a month. You don't have you're not you don't. I mean, you want to set the money aside every week, obviously, but you aren't required to pay it every week. But it felt pretty good here that I was one of the only drivers that they have that's actually managed to get out the quality lease into their own truck. And again, it's a risk. There's different tiers, and it's a risk when you buy a truck, when you lease a truck, when you do whatever it is that you choose to do, start the business. But when you start the business, it is a risk, and you know, again, I mean, I won't keep reiterating it, but it's just that's what I wanted this feed to be about. Like I said, I was going to do a recorded uh, explanation, but I wanted to give people the chance to give their opinion, but I don't have enough people viewing it right now, so I have one person looking or watching right now, but I was up to 4 or 5 anyway. But I wanted to give people the chance to interact and give their opinion. But this will be on the recorded side, because the good thing about using the laptop is that as soon as I'm done, it'll be ready to go. So, uh, anyways, I'm sitting here and I'm in Ohio right now. I'm delivering my last load of the week tomorrow in Lima, Ohio, and then I'm going home for Thanksgiving. And then I've already got pretty much all of my. I've got a load that I'm up. I'll be going back out on Friday night, then picking up a load and taking that up to Michigan, picking a load up Michigan, bringing it down to Cincinnati, and then I'm picking up a load in Findlay and taking it to East Grand Forks, Minnesota, and picking up a load in Fargo, North Dakota, and taking it down to Des Moines, Iowa. So I've got all those loads booked up right now, so that's a good thing. 2 trucks paid off each was going to have the third, but health problems. Yeah, and that's something that we run into out here, unfortunately, Kathy. You know, that is one thing that I will say that I wouldn't say that we're the only um, entrepreneurs that have to really factor in health issues because of it. But I would say that we are at a higher risk of health issues out here as entrepreneurs because we're full of stress. If we if we start the business, we're full of stress, and not to mention, that's the one thing we have in common with every entrepreneur. But we're sitting down all day long. I try to get out and walk as much as I can, but after you drive for 11 hours or you work for 14 plus hours, sometimes you just want to crawl under your sleeper and go to bed, and that is so bad for you. After so yeah, I mean, it's so easy to accumulate health issues out here. Um, Get a company or an owner operator, you know, it's so easy to have health issues that force you out of a truck, and that's added risk to our business. In my opinion, I'd say it's more of a risk in this business than in other businesses, possibly because other people have chances to, you know, get to the gym more and do more working out and be more proactive physically and things like that than we do, even if they are running their own business. But here, running this business, it's very easy to accrue health issues, unfortunately, Um, but again, that's one of those risks that you need to weigh when you start a business as a owner operator. And I keep saying start a business because I mean we are our own business out here. A lot of people don't say it that way. They just they just keep they always say owner operator, and but we are a small business out here, obviously. Um, and it's health issues is something that really can plague what we do. When we choose to go this route. But I don't know. That's really all I had to say. There's not, like I said, I guess Kathy's the only one in here, but that's really all I had to say. I just kind of wanted to touch on that because I hate it when somebody tells somebody, not to do it because of the risk. That's the whole point. This is the whole point of starting a business. It is a risk. It's a gamble. There's no guarantees ever. I don't care what kind of a business it is. It's always going to be risky. Um, but again, thank the Lord above that we have the people in society that are willing to take that risk, or else nobody would ever have a job because nobody would have started a business to employ anybody. And I mean that goes for again any business. Every business it started somehow. Every business started somewhere small. Um, and had they not, who knows who wouldn't have a job? And that's just the real of it. But Anyways, I'm hungry. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to sit on here and eat while I'm on live feed. It feels weird. I hate in front of people unless I'm with my family and stuff in my face for Thanksgiving or something. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go and jump off of here. And if you're catching this on the recorded side, leave a comment below. Let me know your opinion on it. And hey, whatever. I guess that's the beauty of it. We can all have our own opinion, and that's just the way it is. So y'all have a good one out there. Be safe. Keep making some money, and we'll talk at you guys later.